Hello, Helvi, and here we are starting another new series. This will be our fifth of six persistent series we'll be doing every week. And it's interesting one. It's not another shonen like our last few and what will be tomorrow. It is Oshi no Ko. Ko? Yeah, Oshi no Ko. O and K, whatever. I forget what the translation is. Anyways, I've never read this series before. I've never watched anime before. I just now read the first volume. I'm glad I didn't get spoiled on that. All I knew is that it had a reincarnation, but I didn't know she died or I died at the end of the first volume. That was crazy. Crazy. What the, I did not expect that. Even with like I've even been in servers where people talk about newer chapters. I just I knew people like Ruby and Aqua are like the main characters. Um I guess I just thought I've no one just happened to mention I just because or whatever. Maybe they did and it was just in her memory. I have no idea. But I'm glad I didn't get spoiled in that. But obviously this is a manga by it's written by Akasaka Aka. I've never pronounced that name before out loud. Akasaka. And I have both read and watched all of Kaguya-sama. Um I generally like it. Although the manga I think it gets a bit worse over time. I think part of this manga has I guess some of the issues I had with Kaguya-sama and that like I don't know it is a very weird series so far. I I know when people talk about it in Justice Server, the baby emote gets used a lot. I didn't realize how accurate that would be, at least in this first volume. Um, uh, Although I guess they're older now. I'm not sure what age they'll be for most of the series. Yeah, and that's so one thing that confused me here is that, like in the first section here, they're like he looks a bit older than like he's supposed to be like 1 year old. Uh, Maybe I just don't know babies at all, and that's true. I never had a baby. I mean I've seen babies, but this looks a bit bigger than what it would be. And isn't okay, maybe I'll be Mr. Nerd actually here, but or even if you had the mind of an adult, would you even be able to speak like this? Um I or do the vocal cords come pre-made for speech or do you have to train them? I don't know, maybe we'll just say yeah, just for the sake of it, okay? It's anime. It's whatever. Normal people can't do that to begin with, so we never know. Okay, or maybe we probably could know, but yeah. I guess I should have. Okay, sorry. This pay. I'm definitely going through this not as chronologically as other series. Sorry if that's something you don't like. I love I this is one of my favorite pages of this manga so far. I think it's just really funny and an epic Naruto reference to boot. Yes. There was a And also this was cute too. Um, yeah, you can see it. It is kind of strange how people don't pick up more on their talking when they're like this young. Um, right. Even though like uh no, who's her name? Okay, I am not I only know three names, okay? I only know three names. I can't remember. I won't call him the director, okay? He's the director. And this Kana? No, her name is Miko Ino, okay? She is Miko Ino. Oh, by the way, this isn't my first Idol series I've read. I have some Idol experience. I've read AKB 49. That was more of a cross-dressing Idol series. But this is more. This looks like it's going to be more of like an actor acting series. So I'm interested to see how that pans out. Maybe Aqua and Ruby go in different directions. I have had some spoilers for the series, mainly that incest happens, but I don't know how much. If it is Ruby and Aqua, I don't know to what extent that counts as incest. Um, it's like yes and incest int like yes and no and no and yes or whatever. It is definitely the weirdest series. We've probably, or I don't know, maybe let me know if you think it's weirder than Chino Wanachi. They're definitely different types of weird. This one is definitely leans into more like Zoomer type comedy that you know so well from Kaguya-sama. Like, comedy like that had like a Minecraft chapter. There's a chapter when they started using Discord. It was like very Zoomer. Even though I mean, it's not like it's bad. I mean, I play Minecraft. I use Discord. These are hashtag relatable things, but I'm not sure if that's something I necessarily want from my manga. But I don't know, maybe this isn't a real person. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm having trouble figuring out their ages. I guess. Wait, okay. At the end of this thing, we're how old are we? Like four? We know she's definitely older than four. So, okay, wait, now I need to get to brass tacks. What are the themes of the series? What are we going for here? One of the things that I was that she talked about lying and wanting to live her lies so they become truths, and how there was love from lies, and everything like that. And I think that was interesting. But then she died, so how much will that carry over with Aqua and Ruby? Something I'm curious about. Um, but the main hook here is a vengeance plot against father, um, who murdered her mother. At least that's what Aqua suspects. So that is something I'm curious about. But as far as thematics, I hope it, I think Aqua's kind of cooking a bit, with the lying thing. Obviously, um, I want that expanded on more. However, you know, hopefully it can transfer over to Aqua and Ruby. Um, I'm sure what Ruby's actually wait, I forgot. What is Ruby doing here? They're doing I think a play or like a movie? No, okay. The director guy, I guess he's gonna raise Aqua. Um, yes, I think so. Um, how old are they now? Um, how old are they? Um, they were like 20, like she was 20, now they're should be 4. She was 16, like she was 16 when it was announced she was pregnant. So obviously she was late 16 when she gave birth. So and she died when she was on her 20th birthday. So as of her death, they would have been, um, yeah, about 4 years old, basically. And then after that, the prologue ended, but after this chapter, intro introduction. Okay, yeah. Okay, pause. Okay, I might have just been dull, a bit stupid, but between these two pages, there's a time skip. That has to be the case because they look different between these two pages. So I guess they're going. It'll just be a high school series, another one, but like not in high school. It's just like they're acting or whatever. By the way, you probably already noticed that I'm reading the scanlations. These are Jamie Mee's box scanlations. At some point, it will change over to Manga Dex, or not Manga Dex, Manga Plus, or something. And that's because I looked at the original, the official release. Not Viz, well, some other company, but they were pretty low res, so I thought these would probably be better. But if there's any corrections that have been made in like or changes in the volume releases, feel free to tell me. It's anything that might need to know. So we're on in section. After this is section 2, Entertainment World. I wonder if there's section 3 and like what's this high school? Are they in like an acting high school or something? How he's not really want to act, but I guess he's kind of going through with it just I don't know to find Ai's murderer or his mother, or like does he consider her his mother despite not being his original mother before reincarnation? I don't know. That part of the series, I don't know. I don't know. I keep trying to. The only basis I have for something like this is a reincarnation series where the protagonist dies and reincarnates, but as a baby, and they have to live through their baby lives again. Um, only two I remember is Mushoku Tensei, which I only saw the first season. I didn't really like, and Saga of the Tawny Evil, which didn't really dwell on that time of Tanya's life that much. But Mushoku Tensei, wait, what am I trying to get at? They didn't really dwell in the first season, at least, on his on Rudius's past life that much. Um, and sure, they might not do that here, although um, let's go back to the first chapter because I think it might be a bit contrived about how they never figured out each other's identity. Ruby and Aqua, how they knew each other beforehand. And let's go back. Um, yep, they're twins. Um, that's her name, Serena. His name, what was it? Goro. Yes, I never heard those names as like in relation to people talking about this manga, so I know I just know them as Aqua and Ruby. Um, it should have been Ruby and Sapphire or whatever. Like his name is Water. Her name is Diamond or something. It should have been matching. Like it should have been. Their name should have been like a Pokemon Gen, Diamond and Pearl, or something. Maybe they get in trouble for that. I don't know. Maybe that would have been too on the nose. But oh hey, they it's weird. They used a fake Google name, like a Google parody name, which obviously is standard, but they didn't use Twitter. I'm pretty sure this was this before Twitter. Would they be able to get away with this because it was X, or was this before Twitter renamed to X? That would have been great if I guess now companies can use the word Twitter in their or artists can use the word Twitter. Is that true? I'm not sure. Funny if true. That's what I say. Um, and as well as there, so yeah, they had like a um doctor patient dynamic, but she had a crush on him. Um, and she was a big Idol fan. So I guess this is where um the incest stuff later on will come from, but uh unless it's totally unrelated and maybe here fucks her brother or something. I have no. I'm sure it's. I'm sure I can guess, but how it happens is half the intrigue here. Um, yeah, my thoughts on characters so far. I know. I guess Ruby is fine. She's cute. Um, some kind of some good moments. I do wonder what she's going to do in the future. Um, as in like acting or idol stuff. Um, Aqua looks like the main character, main character. I wonder. I don't have much special thoughts on him so far. Besides, he's a main character. Only the best analysis here on this channel. Okay, I'll don't worry. I'll get better at this as I go on. Um, but I mean, so far there's not much to analyze here about the revenge plot since we just started the revenge plot. What we do know is that there's a traitor among us, and that um no wait. Okay, yeah. Besides that, no. There could be a traitor among us, or it's just that the stalker is the um their father. And look, he does say our father, so I guess he does feel that way about. I guess he's like fuck the mother of Goro. I'm my mother. I know I am Aqua. I'm not Goro. Um, I guess it's been long enough, like 4 years at this point. So I don't know. He was much older. He was like in his 30s or 40s, right? Is that enough time to develop a whole new identity like this? Maybe that is interesting. I wonder how. I'm sure Ruby feels the same way about there being their mother. Um, Ruby seems much more closer to she seems much more closer to I. And although no, actually I think they're pretty even in terms of being a fan, but just through what we see here in this first volume, it makes me think that. Um, I'm not sure how this. I forget her name. This woman who raised them basically in Eistead when she was idling. I'm not sure how big of a thing she'll be playing this, but I don't know. Maybe she could be an interesting character. Uh, yeah, I'm rambling on more. Yeah, like I said, this was mostly a prologue, and I think it's really interesting how the anime. I haven't seen the anime, but I do know that it adapted this full volume, and the first episode is like a almost a movie basically, which I think was an interesting move. But anyways, that'll be it for this episode. If you liked, leave a like, and if you want to see more, subscribe. The next series, this will be the last. Next series will be the last series before we go back, loop back into One Piece, and that'll be it. Have a good one.